Okay, so today we're going to dive into Onyxcoin,
Right.
ticker symbol XCN.
Sounds good.
It's been making some, pretty big moves lately.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to,
Make sense of it.
make sense of it all using some recent analyst reports and some market data from CoinMarketCap and Forbes crypto market data.
Cool.
And really what we're trying to do is help you understand like what's going on with XCN
Right.
without having to like read through, tons and tons of, articles and charts and all that kind of, complex stuff.
Yeah, let's get right to the meat and potatoes.
Exactly.
Nice.
So let's just jump right in.
Yeah, so Onyxcoin, it's definitely been making headlines lately. And the first thing that really jumps out at you is just how volatile this thing is.
Yeah.
The block bull, he pointed out that just in the past month, XCN has seen a crazy 20x price surge.
Wow.
Pushing its market cap well above $1 billion.
Yeah.
That's a serious jump.
Yeah, a 20x increase like that definitely gets your attention.
For sure.
But then, kind of just as quickly, we've seen, a bit of a pullback.
Right.
The analyst at the BigBC Finance Channel, they noted a recent 3.5% dip in XCN's price.
Interesting.
Which is interesting because that happened while, most other cryptocurrencies were actually gaining some ground.
Yeah.
So you've got this massive upswing and then this dip that's kind of going against the overall trend.
Right.
So what do you make of that?
Well, I think it definitely raises some questions, right?
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand, that initial pump, that could have been driven by, a lot of hype speculation.
Yeah.
People maybe getting a little too excited.
FOMOing in.
Exactly. And this dip could just be, the market taking a breather.
Yeah.
Natural correction after such a, rapid run up.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it could also suggest that, maybe investor sentiment specifically around XCN is, shifting a little bit compared to the rest of the crypto market. So, it's definitely something to watch.
Well, so let's get into like what the analysts are actually saying about where they think XCN is headed.
Okay.
The block bull has got some pretty ambitious price targets.
Yeah.
He even compared XCN's potential to like XRP's run back in 2017.
Wow.
Suggesting that it could reach like $3.82.
Okay.
But for the, a little bit nearer term, he identified a few key price levels to watch.
Right.
0.055.
Okay.
Then that recent high, around $0.18.
Yeah.
And then like in a super optimistic scenario, he even mentioned like $5.61.
Wow.
And those are, we're talking like potential gains of like 80 to 159 times from, the levels that he was looking at.
All right. So basically what he's saying is there's like a huge range of possibilities.
Right.
It could go to like 50 cents or it could go to $5.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a pretty big spread.
Yeah. And it sounds like, there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah.
But also like the timing and like how high it actually goes. It's going to depend on a bunch of different factors.
Absolutely.
So what's interesting too about the block bull's analysis is like the time frame that he's giving.
Right.
He thinks that things could really start to heat up in like April to May of 2024.
Oh, okay.
And he specifically mentions that if the Federal Reserve cuts interest rates, that could be a big catalyst for like a move higher.
Interesting.
And he also talks about this technical pattern called a cup and handle.
Okay.
Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, I've heard of that. I mean, it's basically like, you think of like a teacup.
Okay.
And you have the initial, dip and then recovery forming the cup.
Okay.
And then you get a smaller dip and another move up forming the handle.
Okay.
And if the price breaks above the rim of the cup, which in this case would be that $0.18 level,
right,
that often signals a strong upward trend.
Okay.
It's like a classic breakout pattern.
Cool. So that's something to keep an eye on.
Definitely.
But, of course, we got to remember that like past price movements don't always predict the future.
Yeah. No guarantees in crypto.
Exactly.
Or anywhere else for that matter.
Yeah, for sure.
So, take it with a grain of salt.
So another thing that's been generating a lot of buzz around XCN is, a potential listing on Binance.
Oh, yeah.
One of the biggest crypto exchanges out there.
Makes sense.
And Crypto Almanac, they took a look at this and they have some pretty interesting analysis.
Cool.
They laid out like all of Binance's criteria for listing a new token.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like, it needs to have high trading volume. It needs to have, plenty of liquidity.
Lots of people buying and selling.
Exactly. A large active community of users, solid technology behind the project.
Of course.
And like actual real world of uses for the token.
Yeah, utility is key.
So what's interesting is like how Crypto Almanac then compares XCN to those requirements. They point out that XCN already has like a pretty substantial market cap,
Right.
around $868 million.
Yeah.
According to their data, although
The block bull said over $1 billion.
right, so there's like a little bit of discrepancy there between the figures, but still, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, definitely not chump change.
Yeah, and they also said a daily trading volume of about $180 million.
Okay.
So, and then they go on to compare that to other cryptocurrencies that are already listed on Binance,
Okay.
like QTUM and Onyxcoin.
Right.
And those actually have lower market caps
Really?
and trading volumes than XCN.
So that's a good sign.
Yeah, it suggests that XCN could be like a really strong contender
Yeah. Makes
for Binance listing.
Yeah, if they're listing coins with lower metrics,
Right.
then XCN should at least be in the conversation.
Exactly. And it's not all just about like the numbers.
Right.
Crypto Almanac also points to some like positive developments within the XCN ecosystem itself. Like they mentioned the support for Ledger hardware wallets
Okay.
through the BAS network and the Onyx point system for XCN users who have ledgers.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And, I think that shows that they're committed to like, building out the project.
Yeah, it shows they're serious.
And, Binance probably looks at that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they want to list projects that are, going to be around for the long haul.
Exactly.
That have a good team and a good vision.
And Crypto Almanac also provides like a technical analysis perspective on this whole Binance listing thing.
Right.
So they noted that even though there's been this like recent downward trend in price, XCN has had strong support at lower levels.
Okay.
So basically meaning there's been like consistent buying interest that's prevented further drops.
So like a floor.
Yeah, exactly. Like a floor under the price.
Okay.
And they also identified what they call a bullish order block.
Bullish order block. What's that?
Yeah, so basically it's like a price range where there's historically been a lot of buying activity.
Interesting.
And their analysis using Elliott waves.
Elliott waves.
Yeah, it's like this theory that says, market prices move in these like predictable patterns of waves.
Okay.
And their analysis suggests that the first two waves might already be complete.
Okay.
Which could potentially lead to like a much bigger upward third wave.
Okay, so like a big surge.
Yeah, and they also spotted an inverted head and shoulders pattern on the charts.
Oh yeah, the classic head and shoulders, which is often seen as a sign that a downtrend might be reversing into an uptrend.
Exactly.
So they're seeing a lot of bullish signals.
Yeah, so they're painting a picture of like underlying strength.
Right.
And the potential for like serious upward momentum.
Yeah, especially if that Binance listing actually happens.
Right, exactly. And I mean, Crypto Almanac has a pretty big following on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Like something like 600,000 subscribers.
Wow.
So their analysis definitely carries some weight.
For sure.
In the crypto community.
So people are listening to what they have to say.
Yeah, for sure.
So we've got the block bull who's bullish.
Yeah.
We've got Crypto Almanac who's also bullish.
Right.
I mean, is anyone bearish on this thing?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the analyst from the BigBC Finance Channel.
Okay.
Because they actually had a slightly different take on that recent price dip.
Right.
They actually suggested that it might be a good thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
So their reasoning is that, it could be shaking out the short-term traders.
Oh, okay.
The people who are just trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah, just chasing pumps.
Exactly. And that could create an opportunity for investors with like a longer term view to buy more.
So like getting rid of the weak hands.
Yeah, basically.
So the strong hands can accumulate more.
Right.
Interesting.
And they also remind us that even with this dip, XCN is still trading at a much higher price than it was back in January.
Oh, wow. So it's still up big overall. Yeah. Even with the recent dip.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they also point to this specific price level.
Okay.
That if XCN can break above it, it could trigger a significant upward move.
Okay, so like a key resistance level.
Exactly. And it's interesting, they also compare it to how XRP's price behaved.
Okay.
Back in November of 2024.
Interesting.
So they're kind of looking at like historical patterns.
Yeah, trying to see if there are any similarities.
Yeah. And they also highlighted some fundamental developments for XCM.
Okay, like what?
Like specifically the launch of its new blockchain.
Right.
And this mechanism where a small portion of the XCN used in transactions is permanently removed or burned.
Oh, okay, the token burn.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So can you kind of explain like why those are important?
Sure. So launching a new blockchain is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
For any cryptocurrency project.
Yeah.
It usually means they're moving towards more independence.
Okay.
And more control over the technology and how it develops in the future. And the transaction burn mechanism, that's also really interesting.
Yeah.
Because by destroying a small amount of XCN with each transaction, the total number of coins in circulation gradually decreases over time.
Okay.
So if demand for XCN stays the same or increases, this reduction in supply could lead to a higher price over the long term.
So it's like they're trying to create scarcity.
Exactly. It's a deflationary tactic.
Interesting.
To potentially benefit long-term holders.
So it rewards people who are holding on to their XCN.
Exactly.
Oh.
And, the BigBC Finance Channel analysts, they actually have a long-term price target of 37 cents for XCN.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which shows they're pretty confident about these underlying factors.
That's a pretty good return.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on.
So let's rewind a little bit and look at Stock Holiday's analysis.
Okay.
They were really focused on that earlier massive price surge we talked about.
Right, that 20x bump?
Yeah, they highlighted that impressive 45% increase in a single day and the even crazier 210% jump in a week.
That's insane. I know, that's like lottery ticket territory.
Yeah, and they noted that this move propelled XCN into the top 100 cryptocurrencies.
Oh, wow.
It reached 92nd place.
Okay.
With a market cap exceeding $1 billion.
Wow.
Which again, we're seeing these slightly different market cap figures.
Right. Yeah, we've seen a few different numbers thrown around.
Yeah, across these different reports.
A little confusing.
But still, over $1 billion is pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And what Stock Holiday really emphasized was just the sheer scale of that growth.
Right.
Like a 30 to 33 times increase from its initial valuation.
Wow.
And they pointed out that compared to other tokens focused on payment services, like XRP, XLM, XDC network, XCN previously had a smaller market capitalization, which, could have made it more attractive to investors who are looking for those high growth opportunities.
Yeah, because it had more room to run.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they mentioned the all-time high around $0.18.
Okay.
And the strong upward momentum at the time of their analysis.
Right.
And they even touched on some broader predictions for the entire crypto market. Like predictions that it could reach a $10 trillion total value.
Wow.
And they also mentioned positive regulatory developments as potential tailwinds for XCN.
So they're basically saying that the overall environment is favorable.
Yeah, exactly.
And that could help push XCN higher.
And they also highlighted the strong community engagement around XCN. And they share examples of investors who saw significant gains during that price pump.
Nice.
Really underscoring the potential for, making money in these smaller cap coins.
Right, because they have more potential for growth.
Exactly.
But also more risk.
Right.
So it's a trade-off.
So one of the things that's been generating a lot of buzz and speculation is this reported rebrand.
Oh, yeah.
From Onyx to Connexes.
Connexes. Interesting.
And the rumors about potential involvement from JP Morgan.
JP Morgan, whoa.
Yeah, the Block Bull was the one who mentioned this.
Okay.
And it's definitely got people talking.
Yeah, I mean, JP Morgan is a giant.
Yeah.
In the financial world.
We're talking about trillions of dollars in transactions.
Wow.
Processed daily.
And huge amounts of assets under management.
I know. And the speculation is that XCN might somehow play a role in their plans for dealing with real world assets on the blockchain.
Okay, so tokenizing real estate or something.
Yeah. Exactly.
Interesting.
But, the Block Bull also pointed out that, JP Morgan hasn't actually said anything publicly confirming any of this.
It's all just rumors at this point.
Yeah. So for now, it's just speculation.
Yeah, but still intriguing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Given JP Morgan's size and their growing interest in blockchain.
Yeah, exactly.
It's definitely something to watch.
So another big piece of news that the Block Bull talked about was the upcoming acquisition of 500 million XCN tokens by Justin Sun.
Justin Sun.
Yeah, and the crypto exchange HTX.
Okay.
So that's a massive amount of tokens.
Yeah, 500 million.
But the crucial detail here is that these tokens are reportedly subject to a 2-year lockup period.
Oh, wow, a 2-year lockup.
Yeah.
So they can't sell them for 2 years.
Right.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, so why is that important?
Well, it basically means that a huge chunk of the XCN supply is going to be off the market for 2 years.
Right.
which, could significantly reduce the risk of a sudden massive sell-off.
Oh.
What they call a dump.
Yeah.
Which can really tank the price.
Okay, so this lockup could prevent that.
Exactly. It could provide some price stability.
Okay.
And it also suggests a longer-term commitment from Justin Sun and HTX.
Right.
Which, the market might interpret as a vote of confidence.
Interesting.
In the project.
So finally, let's take a look at the data from Forbes crypto market data.
Okay.
As of March 31st, 2025.
Yeah.
They list the price of XCN at around 0.00094 RAIN,
right,
showing a small increase for the day.
Okay.
But if we look at their historical data,
yeah,
it gives us some context.
For sure.
We can see the highest and lowest prices over the past week,
okay,
the past month,
yeah,
and even the past year and 5 years.
Wow, so we can see the long-term trend.
Yeah, and that 5-year high reached up to 0.1816.
Oh, wow.
So it's been on quite a ride.
Yeah, definitely a roller coaster.
They also list some of the exchanges where XCN is currently trading, like BitGit and Kraken, with average prices hovering around that 0.00093 to 0.0094 range.
Okay.
And what I also found helpful from Forbes was their little description of Onyx itself.
Right.
So they describe it as infrastructure designed for a multi-asset, scalable, and secure ledger.
Okay.
That uses cryptography to improve financial ecosystems.
Right.
And they also highlight XCN's role as the native token used for staking.
Okay, so basically locking up your tokens to support the network and earn rewards.
Right, and also for governance.
Governance.
Yeah.
So token holders have a say in the future of the project.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it really reinforces the fundamental purpose and utility of the token.
Yeah, so it's not just some random meme coin.
Exactly. It's got real use cases.
Yeah, that's important.
So, bringing all of this together, for you, our listeners, it's pretty clear that the situation surrounding Onyxcoin is
complex.
Yeah, complex, multifaceted, and constantly changing.
It's crypto.
Yeah, we've seen huge price swings.
Yeah.
We've got analysts making a whole bunch of different predictions based on, technical analysis, fundamentals, potential future events.
And there's a lot of hype and speculation, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Which can really muddy the waters.
Yeah, so what's really interesting is how all of these pieces fit together.
Right.
Market sentiment can drive these rapid price increases.
Yeah.
Technical analysis can give us clues about where the price might go next.
Potentially.
But ultimately, the long-term success of XCN is going to depend on the strength of its technology, how widely adopted its blockchain becomes, and the support of its community.
The community is huge.
Yeah, for sure.
They're the ones who are actually using the token.
Exactly.
And building the ecosystem.
And a listing on Binance would be a big deal.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
It increase visibility, make it easier for people to buy and sell.
And it would give the project more legitimacy.
Exactly.
In the eyes of the market.
And then you've got this whole JP Morgan thing, which is still just speculation.
Right.
But if they actually got involved, that could be a huge turning point.
For sure. JP Morgan is a major player.
And then you've got this massive token lockup with Justin Sun and HTX.
Yeah.
Which, could have a big impact on supply and demand.
Yeah, definitely something to consider.
So, you've got these different views from analysts. Right. Some are super bullish.
Yeah, talking about massive gains.
Others are a bit more cautious.
Yeah.
Seeing the recent dip as a healthy part of the cycle.
Right.
So it really just highlights how volatile the cryptocurrency market can be.
For sure.
And it underscores the importance of always doing your own research.
Absolutely.
Looking at different perspectives.
Don't just listen to one analyst.
Right.
You got to do your own due diligence.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Onyxcoin, I hope this has given you a better understanding.
A clearer picture.
Yeah, a clear picture of what's going on.
Of all the moving parts.
Exactly, based on these recent reports and market data.
Yeah.
It's a complex story.
For sure.
With a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to extract those key insights for you.
Right.
Without overwhelming you with too much information.
We try to make it digestible.
Exactly. Yeah. And, if we kind of zoom out and look at the bigger picture of the crypto market.
The whole crypto landscape.
Yeah, XCN's journey really shows how quickly things can change.
Right.
And the potential for huge rewards.
Yeah.
But also the risks, volatility.
You got to be prepared for a wild ride.
Yeah, for sure. So on that note, here's a final thought for you to consider.
Hit me.
Given everything we've talked about, the different analyst views,
right,
the upcoming token lockup.
With Justin Sun and HTX.
Yeah.
Okay.
what single factor do you think will have the biggest impact on Onyx Coin's price over the next year?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
It's tough to say.
Yeah, I mean, is it overall market sentiment?
Right.
Is it a potential Binance listing?
Yeah.
Successful development of their new blockchain? Or maybe something else entirely?
Lots of possibilities.
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's been fun.
Yeah. I hope you learned something.
Me too.
And we'll see you next time.
See